Welcome back to Mind Keys. Super stoked to have you aboard here. Really grateful to have this conversation with you. My name is Dave, for those of you that don't know me. And on this channel, we talk a lot about things like hypnosis, self-therapy, self-coaching, awakening, spirituality, personal transformation, psychedelics, microdosing, the mystery of consciousness, all that kind of stuff here on this channel. So if that's your thing, please watch on. So like you probably saw in the title of this video, this one's going to be about how to access the alpha brainwave state without having to use binaural beats. So for those of you that don't know, I'm a coach and a hypnotherapist, and so learning how to shift states and how to help people transform their experience in their body and think new thoughts and feel new feelings and operate in a different way is what I do. It's what I learn, it's what I study, it's what I geek out about, and largely it's the foundation of what I'm using to ground everything we talk about here on this channel. And I kind of gone through a period in the past where I'd been struggling to really articulate my ideas and find the right framework or the right grounding of the conversation. What's the core piece I'm after here? And last video, I really got at it, and I was really able to proclaim that. And so if you didn't see the video, or if you did and it didn't make sense, let me kind of just summarize that briefly here for you. In the last video, I really expressed that I think the foundation, the kind of keystone piece to awakening, to transformation, to spiritual experiences, to self-actualization, to personal growth, to personal development, is neurological, that is mind-body, nervous system flexibility or freedom. You can think of it either way. Flexibility is freedom in the nervous system. And so what does that mean? Let me kind of clarify that just a little bit for you, and then we'll go ahead and get into the practical meat of this video. So the basic idea I want you to wrap your head around here is that all growth, all healing, all transformation, all awakening, every experience you've ever had hinges upon your nervous system's ability to adapt, to shift, to change gears, to change states, so to speak, to transform itself into new ways of being and feeling and thinking and perceiving. Without that capacity, we are generally stuck. And what I've seen as a coach and a hypnotherapist, and what I experience over and over, is that typically when a person comes to me with a problem, when they're dealing with an issue, or if I'm dealing with my own issues, what is at the heart of the problem is a stuckness in the nervous system. Whether that's thought loops, or only being able to see things from one particular point of view, or having a persistent kind of like lack of understanding of something that keeps you kind of frozen, or being caught in a reaction and your body runs away with a response before you can kind of control it and ground yourself, and next thing you know, you're swept away on a tide of emotion or feeling. Anything like that would be kind of a rigidity, if you will, of the nervous system. And so what I teach and what I talk about is how to start to create more flexibility and more access to how you want to feel inside yourself. So with that being said, I wanted to give you practicals, because on this channel to date, I've talked a lot about kind of, opinions, theory, perceptions, philosophy, that kind of thing, very abstract stuff. So I want to start to ground this conversation out with you guys with experiential, applicable, practical, kind of bite-sized chunks that you can try on for yourself and see what works, and either use or don't, but at least you'll start to have more and more tools to start to actualize what it is you want for yourself. So let's go ahead and talk about how to access the alpha state inside yourself, whether or not you're listening to binaural beats. My apologies about the sudden shift in shot here. Right as I was just starting to get into that next piece, the wind picked up, and where I live, as soon as it starts blowing, it can be a while till it goes away, and it's not a lot of wind, but it's just enough that it ruins the audio. And since you're watching for the audio more than the video, figured I would just move to my car. It's the closest place I could get a cleaner bit of audio for you and continue on with the video. So with that being said, I want to just set a little bit of context for you about this technique before I teach it to you. So lately, I've been playing around with making binaural beats and I've been playing around with listening to them a lot more, kind of pick them back up, just in exploring personal development for myself and brain entrainment, and seeing the difference between hypnosis and binaural beats and the combination and which of these I like best, because I want to start offering to you some sort of a binaural beat kind of thing. And so I will be offering those on the channel here, and there will be probably hypnotic meditations I will do, including binaural beats, in the member site once I get that up and running again. I've switched it off for now, so if you're thinking about becoming a member, I'm going to be kind of redoing it all, and then I'll be relaunching it. So anyway, so I've been exploring binaural beats, and I've been playing around with them, and one of the most important frequencies, one of the most important brainwave states you can experience for, especially for healing anxiety, for letting go of stress, for coming to mental clarity and groundedness and well-being, is the alpha brainwave state. And about 6 months ago, I learned a way to get into the alpha brainwave state, which I'm about to teach you here, that doesn't involve listening to binaural beats. So this would be useful if you are, say, away from a device, you have no access to the internet, or you just want to learn how to strengthen this on your own, or if you want to learn how to do self-hypnosis to do your own change work, this is the first step. So one of the things that happens, interestingly enough, when we get into the alpha brainwave state is that we start to become more suggestible. So hypnosis itself is a way of getting ourselves into the alpha brainwave state and allowing the brain to become a little more calm. And when it enters that brainwave frequency, we become a little more suggestible. Our brain becomes a little more pliable. And the reason for that is that the default mode network, which is kind of your normal, everyday problem solving, left brain, rational, kind of what they would call the dominant hemisphere of the brain, switches off. And so your default mode network switches off, and that allows you access to the subdominant part of the brain, in other words, the unconscious mind. And interestingly enough, this parallels psychedelics and microdosing. So when we take a psychedelic, what happens is that the default mode network also switches off, and the brain has more crosstalk between the various areas of the brain that normally tend to be a little more isolated in how they operate. And so what we're doing with this technique is we're leveraging physiology, we're leveraging breath, we're leveraging subtle tweaks in the musculature and in the body that can shift us really quickly into the alpha brainwave state. And with that, then we can either just ride in that state and then train in that state for a certain amount of time, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and feel so much better right away. Feel so much more aligned, feel so much more clear and grounded, or like you just had a cup of green tea, right? Or if you want, since that's kind of the beginning of hypnosis, what you can do from there is you can start to give yourself suggestions, and the unconscious mind will be much more open to integrating, receiving those suggestions and operationalizing those suggestions, because it can hear you, it can receive you. See, typically when we have the default mode network going, it tends to override the unconscious mind. So we don't have access to receiving the information from the unconscious mind. And likewise, we have a hard time allowing the unconscious mind to receive information from our conscious mind so that it can start to implement change. So a couple key things for you to know here. First of all, the conscious mind, or the dominant hemisphere of the brain, however you want to think about it, processes in serial. So what that means is it processes linearly. So it'll process A, and then B, and then C, and then D, and then E. So it's linear, one at a time problem solving. By contrast, the unconscious mind, or the subdominant hemisphere, is parallel, not serial. So in other words, it processes A, B, C, D, and E all at the same time. So the unconscious mind can find solutions, can find new ways of being and new ways of feeling that are so much more elegant, so much more unexpected, so much more immediate or holistic, more well-rounded and well-integrated for all of you than the conscious mind typically will find. So this is one of the huge benefits to starting to learn self-hypnosis and accessing the alpha brainwave state. So, okay, enough about setting this up and getting you excited about how to do it. Let's go ahead and just do it. So, a quick caveat here for you: if you are driving a car, operating heavy machinery, or otherwise in some sort of a dangerous situation that requires your full alert attention, don't do this right now. Pause the video, come back to it when you have the time and the space to allow yourself to be a little more in a sleepy, woozy, more calm, relaxed kind of state, because that's where we're going to end up if we do this right. So, unfortunately, I can't do this state and talk because it requires relaxing the jaw. So I'm going to advise you through it. I'm going to coach you through how to do this, but I can't do it and tell you how at the same time. So unfortunately, you're just going to have to follow along with the instructions and see how you feel. And my suggestion is do this for at least 5 minutes, okay? The longer the better. I find with a lot of brainwave stuff, it really starts to kick in somewhere around the 7 to 10 minute mark. But if you set a timer for 5 minutes, often with this technique, you'll find that within 5 minutes you feel very much more relaxed, very much more open. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. So how do we get into the alpha brainwave state? It's very simple. There are a few things you want to do. First of all, get comfortable. Make sure you're in a place where you're not distracted, where you can start to pay attention to the internality of your experience and where your attention doesn't have to be external to you. Assuming that you found that place, that you are kind of settled and you can kind of just pay attention inwardly, I want you to start by simply allowing your face to relax and just go soft a little bit. And you want to begin to, this is easy with your mouth closed, but you can do it either way. You want to close your mouth or not and relax the back of your tongue. And as you relax the back of your tongue, you want to also start to relax your jaw. Any tension in your jaw, just let it totally relax. And you might notice that you feel like you're making a dopey face. And if you do, that's fine, because that happens. But just relax your jaw. Relax the back of your tongue. Relax the tension under your eyelids. And what we're doing as we do this is we are actually telling the vagus nerve, which is the central nerve that runs up the front and the back of the body, that runs in through all the organs, that is connected to multiple systems of safety and survival and perception. We're telling it that you are safe and everything is okay. So relax your jaw, relax the back of your tongue, relax the tension under the eyelids. Start to relax your shoulders and the back of your neck a little bit. And as you're making these adjustments, these are just minor tweaks. I want you to just start to double the length of the exhale of your breathing from the inhale. So however long your inhale is, just start to shift your exhale to be twice as long. And if you're finding that it's a little slow going to get into this state, I want to just encourage you to be easy on yourself and just approach this whole process kind of from an attitude of allowing yourself to relax, of just kind of gliding into it. You're not necessarily trying to force it. you're just allowing yourself to kind of settle and being patient. And if your nervous system is particularly wound up for any reason, that's okay. Just let it settle. Be patient with it. So it's just this attitude of allowing. Again, relaxing your jaw, relaxing the back of your tongue, relaxing under your eyelids, relaxing your neck, doubling your exhale to your inhale. And just start to notice how you feel. How do you feel now? What's different? You might notice that your thinking calms down and that your mind relaxes, that you're able to access that sense of alertness but calmness at the same time. And you may notice that you feel good and you just feel your nervous system kind of becoming clear. You feel your mind clarifying. You feel your body becoming so much more at ease. And it's really in this special state of the alpha brainwave state that we start to heal. And it becomes impossible to feel any sort of anxiety. Anxiety just drifts away because you're in alpha now. And as we're in alpha, we start to find that we have more creative solutions to the problems that we've been dealing with. That as our thoughts slow down and we have less of them and they calm down, we may find that it becomes so much easier to access new ways of thinking about things or wisdom that is inside of ourselves that's been waiting to be heard and understood. And if you're having an experience like that, just go ahead and welcome that information. Just understand that what we're starting to do here is open up a pipeline, if you will, a new connector between the conscious mind and the unconscious mind. And as the conscious mind and the unconscious mind start to connect and communicate, new solutions naturally arise. And well-being naturally arises. And peace and calm and clarity. And the great thing is you can do this whenever you need to. You can take a time out and you can use this. And you can use this as a way to send a message to your body and to the rest of your brain that you're safe and it's okay. And that can be really useful in a moment of stress or in a moment of overwhelm to start to feel safety. And when you pair this feeling of safety that we're accessing, when you connect it to the problems that you've been struggling with, all of a sudden you find that they feel less like a problem. And you feel the ability to deal with it with so much more ease, to find the solution, to find the well-being. And so I'd just like to invite you to take a moment to check in. How do you feel now? How was that for you? Do you feel shifted? Do you feel different? Do you feel calmer? Do you feel more relaxed? Do you feel more at ease? So if you've made these adjustments successfully, that's generally how the body responds to making these minor adjustments, is that we start to enter the alpha state. We feel relaxed and we become open and we become connected. Our awareness expands and we feel grounded at the same time. It's a great state. I love it. And like I said, it's the beginning of the hypnotic process. So from there, you can start to make suggestions like I was just making, and use that to start to send loving signals to your body and to your mind that it can start to implement for you and start to run automatically in the background. So I hope that's practical. I hope that's useful for you. I'm going to start teaching you more and more little practical tools like this on how to start to shift yourself, on how to start to understand how to use your own mind so that you have that flexibility. And, then we'll be also talking about all kinds of other stuff on the channel as well. We'll still be talking about psychedelics and microdosing and awakening and spirituality and all that stuff. But I really want to ground all of this conversation out in experience and in practical things that you can do that are useful tools for you so that you start to know how to take control of your mind and your body and therefore your life. So I hope you liked it. I hope you enjoyed it. If you got some sort of a shift out of it, would you do me a favor and just leave me a little thumbs up or a little comment below and just interact so that I know that I'm reaching you and connecting with you, so that if you like this kind of content, I'm inspired to make more of it. That's all for now, I guess, for this video. I hope you got something out of it. I hope you got the shift. I certainly feel different, and wishing you all the best. All right, guys, take care.